since I really enjoy Debbie from So Easy. I love listening to her. For one, she's got the softest voice, very soothing, and I love her projects that she does. I have made several of her Market Tote Bags with the vinyl and the outdoor decor fabric. But today I'm going to do one with just some fat quarters. So I'll probably keep the height at 18.5 inches and just do 16 inches wide. So it's going to be probably almost the same size as her measurements with the 8 inches of vinyl and the 11 inches of fabric. But we're going to do 16. And cut that all the way up with my cutter. And I'm a novice sewer, so no haters, please. I'm still learning. Only good criticism, not bad, please. Because I'm very, very, very new at sewing. I'm a novice sewer. But I do like it. And I do learn as I go along, so. So let me get these cut. I think I need a sharper blade. And what I'll do is I'll cut this one out, I'll cut the other one out, and then we'll come back and we'll sew them together. Okay, I've cut these out, and I'm putting the wrong sides together because we're going to do the 1/2 inch seam down here and then cut it in half, like she says to do for the box. I say we're doing the same thing. We're not going to line this one. We're just going to do it just like we do the Market Tote Bag one. So I'm going to sew the seams and then cut them back, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I have sewn the 2 right sides together, and then I've cut this down as Debbie says to do. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn it inside out. And take it to the press, as she says. Take it and do an ironing job on this and try to get these on and clip them. Use the Wonder Clips, which I really like. I like them better than pins. And then just make sure that the edges are, but you can probably, because it's cloth, you can probably iron that down without using clips. But if you prefer to use clips, you can do that. Also, we're going to sew down here 1/2 inch and do another. And the only other thing we're going to have to do on the bottom is do a zigzag at the bottom, since there are raw edges. So we don't want those, fraying. So I'll do that, and then we'll come back, just this. Okay, so I sewed down both sides here, so that's going to enclose the raw edge that we sewed when we had the wrong sides together. And then I sewed 2 lines, and as you can see, my lines are not straight. I'm still working on straightening my lines out. But I sewed 2 lines of stitching, and then I did a zigzag at the bottom and then trimmed up to the zigzag. So hopefully that will keep it from fraying. So then I'm going to go ahead and then next do make the bottom a little bit of a bottom block, or so that it can stand a little bit, or it has a little bit wider bottom. And then put the 2 seam allowances, one going one way, as Debbie says, and the other going the other way. And then I'm gonna, I'll probably clip it and I'll probably clip it down here as well, because that helps to hold this in place as well. And then I'll sew probably a 3-inch seam across, and then sew another 3-inch seam across, and then clip it. So I'll do that, and then I'll come back and we'll look at that, at what I did. Okay, so just so I can show you here, I have the one seam allowance one way and the one other seam allowance the other way, and the stitching together, and I've pinned that there, and I'm going to pin it. Put my pen down, pin it down here as well, and here as well, so it hopefully keeps that together. Put 1.5 and 1.5 on the seam to measure 3, and then you just draw a little line. I don't know if my pen's going to work or not. It's not working, but you have to get a pen that works. But then you draw your line across here, and then you sew it, and then you draw another line across the top there, and then trim it. And I'll do that and be right back. Okay, so I've sewed it across here. It's a 3-inch. I put the ruler up here, I put 1.5 on the line, and then I drew it. My pen started working after I got off camera. And then I sewed another line, because when double seam sew them. And now I'm just going to cut it, like Debbie says to do. And then now we'll have a bottom boxed bag. So not bad for a beginner, I guess. I got the seams pretty close. That one's pretty much dead on, I guess. So get a little closer so you can see it. So now we have at least a little bit of a bottom on it. So next we're going to half inch and then half inch again. We're going to press this down and then sew it, and then press it down again and then sew it, and then sew another line at the top is what she says to do. So, and which is what I've done on all the other bags. It's a really nice project she's put together. And I'll have all the tutorial links to her site, so you can get all the information on it at the bottom of the video. Okay, so I went and I pressed this over and one time and then stitched it, and then I pressed it again and then stitched it, and then I came back and I did another stitch at the top, just like the instructions asked for. And then in this case though, we're going to have to put some handles on it in a different way, because I'm not using the vinyl that she has in the project instructions. So I'll be using just fabric. So I will show you exactly what we have once I get it together. So what I did is I cut, instead of cutting the 2 inches of the vinyl and the 1.5 inches of the hard wearing cloth, decor cloth, I decided to do, since I'm only using the fabric, I decided to do 4 inches wide. And what I've done is I've pressed both of the sides into the center like you would normally, but I also then folded it over and pressed it again. So our handles will be this big, but it is a lighter bag as well. So I'm going to sew down this side and then back down this side, and then I'll bring it back and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so I've pressed and sewn both of these handles, and actually my lines aren't too bad. I'm getting better at that, but being, like I said, a novice sewer, I sew here and there, and I really don't sew a lot of complicated stuff. I'd love to be able to do that, but I need more lessons. But anyhow, this is beginning sewing for me, so that's what I'm showing you is the beginning sewing for this particular project, which is the Market Tote Bag. Although this one is more of this is a cloth bag, so I don't know that it's, I mean, it's double sewn seams and everything, and everything's reinforced, and all the stitches on the end are locked. But whether or not it's a hard wearing bag, it probably wouldn't last as long as the Market Tote Bags do. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and put these in, sew these into the bag, and then I'll show you when we get back. Okay, so that since we've cut the bag to 18.5 inches, it's almost 19 inches, I'm still going to use the 4-inch length for putting the handles in. So you're going to go from the seam 4 inches in and then make a mark. I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. Go in from the seam. And then make a mark. And Debbie says go ahead and put in an inch. Make an inch box around it. So I line up the 1/2 inch with my line. And then half inch with my line, and then there, and then we're gonna line it up here like this. And then I just kind of bring it up like this and like this, so I know where to put it. Same for this side. So you have an idea of where you want to put it. Here's my middle. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll put these on and bring it back. Just wanted to show you that I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to do a rectangle all the way around. And I might even back stitch it a little bit on both of them just to tighten it up a bit so that's a little bit stronger. Okay, so I've sewed the handles on, and here's what they look like. I mean, it looks pretty nice. It's a nice looking bag, I guess. But this is the completed project. So if you want to make this, the instructions are on So Easy, and Debbie does a tutorial as well. But I will have all of that information down below the video. Hope you enjoyed watching me do my beginner sewing, and hope to see you again.